Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to give our brains a serious upgrade. Basically, we're installing a new mental operating system. We're going to learn how to think like the world's greatest detective, Sherlock Holmes, so you can start seeing what everyone else misses.
You know, this classic quote from Holmes really hits the nail on the head. We all see the world around us, right? But do we actually observe it? There's a huge difference, and Holmes knew it. It's the gap between just letting stuff happen in front of our eyes and actively looking for what really matters. That's the skill we're going to break down.
So, how do we make that leap from just seeing to truly observing? Well, it all starts with understanding that you've basically got two detectives living inside your head, and they're both constantly fighting to solve the case of your daily life.
See, our brain's default setting is what we can call System Watson. He's fast, he's intuitive, and he jumps to the wrong conclusion a lot. He's that well-meaning sidekick who means well but often gets it wrong. The detective we need to wake up to consciously activate is System Holmes. He's slow, methodical, and super analytical. The goal isn't to get rid of Watson, but to know when to politely tell him to take a seat so Holmes can get to work.
All right, let's start building our inner Holmes. The foundation, the absolute most important skill we have to nail down, is pure, unfiltered observation. Now, here's the thing you got to understand about your brain. It's kind of lazy by design. Its natural resting state is to just wander around, not to focus. So paying close attention actually takes real conscious effort. Our brains are hardwired to take shortcuts to save energy. And because of that, we miss a ton of crucial details.
So when we talk about observation, like Holmes, we're not just talking about opening your eyes. It is a disciplined skill. It's knowing what details matter before you even start looking. It's an active hunt for information, not just a casual stroll through your day.
And this is exactly why it's so important. Think about this. Your senses are getting hit with about 11 million bits of information every single second. But your conscious mind, it only processes about 40 of them. That means your brain is a ruthless filter. If you're not actively telling it what to look for, you're just left with whatever your System Watson happens to notice.
Okay, so once we've gathered all our facts, what's next? You might think it's deduction, but not yet. There's this super important middle step that almost everybody skips, the scientific use of imagination.
Let's try something. You see these 9 dots on the screen? Here's the challenge. Can you connect all 9 of them using just 4 straight lines? And you can't lift your pen from the paper. Go on. You can even pause and give it a shot. It's trickier than it looks, right? Most people get totally stuck here. The reason this puzzle is so hard is because our brains automatically create a rule that isn't actually there. We just assume we have to stay inside the box that the dots make. But real imagination, that's about seeing past these imaginary walls we build for ourselves. You literally have to think outside the box to solve it.
And that outside-the-box thinking is exactly what the famous physicist Richard Feynman was getting at. For him, real imagination wasn't about fantasy or daydreaming. It was about taking the facts, the things you've already observed, and piecing them together in new ways to create real, testable possibilities that no one else has thought of yet.
Okay, we've observed the facts. We've imagined new possibilities. Now it's time for the final piece, deduction. This is where we put our theories to the test and finally quiet down that impulsive System Watson. So let's test our reasoning skills. Quick, what's the first answer that pops into your head? A bat and a ball cost $1.10 total. The bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. So, how much does the ball cost? Just go with your gut. What'd you got?
All right, ready for another one? If it takes 5 machines 5 minutes to make 5 widgets, how long would it take 100 machines to make 100 widgets? Again, don't overthink it. What's that first number that comes to mind?
Okay, last one. There's a patch of lily pads on a lake, and it doubles in size every single day. If it takes 48 days for the patch to cover the whole lake, how many days does it take to cover just half the lake? Now be careful with this one. Your brain is going to try to substitute an easy question, like what's half of 48, for the one that's actually being asked.
So, how'd you do? If you said 10 cents, 100 minutes, and 24 days, then congratulations, your System Watson is working perfectly. Those are the easy, intuitive, and totally wrong answers. The right answers, the ones that take just a moment of System Holmes thinking, are 5 cents, 5 minutes, and 47 days. This just goes to show why it's so critical to learn to pause and question that first gut reaction.
And take a look at this. What do you see in the middle?
Is it the letter B, or is it the number 13? Well, what you see depends entirely on whether you're reading across or down, right? The image itself is exactly the same, but the context completely changes your perception. And that, right there, is what bias does to our thinking. It creates a context that makes us see one thing and completely ignore other possibilities, and we don't even realize it's happening.
So how do we get better at all this? Here's probably the most important thing to remember from this whole explainer. Thinking like Sherlock Holmes is not some superpower you're born with. It's a skill. Your mind is a muscle, and just like any other muscle, you can train it to get stronger. A Stanford psychologist named Carol Dweck actually proved this with her research on what she called a growth mindset. It's this simple but incredibly powerful idea that you can get smarter through effort and practice. You are not stuck with the brain you have now, and that belief, that's the foundation for building your own inner Holmes.
So here it is, the whole thing in a nutshell. Your mental upgrade in 3 steps. This is the framework you can practice every single day. First, observe actively. Stop just looking at things. Second, imagine possibilities. Don't just jump to the most obvious conclusion. And third, deduce with discipline. Stop trusting your gut without challenging it first.
Sherlock Holmes himself once asked, "How often is imagination the mother of truth?" He knew that the most amazing solutions often seem totally impossible at first glance. So I'll just leave you with this question. In your own life, in your work, what's one improbable idea, one that your system Watson is just begging you to dismiss, that you're going to give a real chance to today?